show you how to answer these questions in Excel, and then we're going to do it in SPSS. So the first 4 questions are standard deviations and means. Pretty basic. So we're going to go down here and we're going to make a mean and a standard deviation. So I hope you remember that a standard deviation is the average distance away from the mean that everybody is in the data set. So spell them right, I hope so. Okay, so we want age, income, anxiety, and depression. So age, income, anxiety, and depression. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go to the mean row, go to the function bar, make sure you're in statistical. Statistical. And then mean is average. Click OK. Never trust these numbers. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're not. What I just do is that. And that's our age variable. Do not get the title. And then click OK. So there's our average right there. Let me make it bold and a little bit bigger. And I only want 2 place values, so we go up here and reduce place values to 2, and it'll automatically round off. I do want it centered. There it is. So standard deviation for age. Click the cell next to it. Go to the function bar. Make sure you're in statistical. We are, and we go down to standard deviation. Saint Dev. Now, very important. You guys are going to ask me this about 10 times. There's always 2 of them. One ends with a P, one ends with an S. The P stands for population, which is not our data. Our data is simply a sample. So we're going to use the Saint Dev S. The S stands for sample. Click OK. And again, never change these numbers or trust these numbers. We simply highlight the data that we want the standard deviation of. Click OK. And I like these characteristics from the mean data, so I go to my format painter and I click here. So I found the mean and the standard deviation of age. Here comes the cool part. I simply highlight these 2. I put my cursor in the bottom right hand corner. You see that little tiny green box on the bottom right. Hover over that until you get that, and then you simply click and draw or drag across. And these 2 were not part of the first 4 questions. Annual income, anxiety, depression, quality of life. So which ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. So I was calling it 4 questions. It was actually 5. I had 2 questions marked number 2, but I have fixed that. Okay. So the fastest way is to put them in order. We're going to go ahead and highlight the gender. Very important, if there's a formula here, this sort thing will not work. So make sure there's no formula in the cells, and there's not. So we highlighted the gender. We're going to go to sort, smallest to largest, and this expand the selection means that it's gonna change all the values in all the other rows that correspond to each of the rows here. And it looks like it did it. So how many ones do we have? We have, all right, here's the quickest way. So they start at 6, and they go down to 19. So 19 minus 6 is 13, plus 1 is 14. So we got 14 females. And in males, it goes down to 31. It starts at 20. So 31 minus 20 is 11, plus 1 is 12. The reason I'm adding a plus 1 is it's inclusive. If you don't, you're going to be 1 short. Okay, so that's our number of males, number of females. We're simply going to highlight the data. Scooch this over a bit. Hold on a second. So we got 14 females and 12 males. Highlight the data. We're going to go to insert. And there's our pie chart right there, but I always like recommended graphs. Has them all up there. And there is our gender. Gender. And please title your charts. Okay, there's gender. Now we're going to do a bar graph with education. So education sweeping the nation. That's these guys, right? Shkabam. And this is what they stand for. 1 is no high school, some is high school. 3 is some college, 4 is BA, 5 is MA, 6 is PhD. So we're going to just basically do, again, we're going to count how many there are of each. And I'm going to put these like that, sort this to smallest, expand the selection. Yes, we are. So how many ones do we have? We have, let's do my little magic trick here. So ones, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. So I'm just going to put it down here. 1, we got 5 of them. 2s, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 2s. This is a lot faster in SPSS, I tell you what. 3s, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3s. And 4s, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s. And how many 5s? We got 1, 2, 3, 4 5s. And looks like 2 6s. Okay, so, oops, 6, 2, 2. Now, since these numbers, these are the different grade levels, and this is how many there are in each one. I'm going to fix that a little bit. I'm going to put these in here and use these, right? So 1 is no high school. And 2 is high school diploma. Okay, I'm going to pause the video. You guys don't need to see me doing this. So now we're ready to go. You highlight the data. Go to insert. Again, there's all your graphs. There's your bar chart. But I like the recommended. The computer always knows. And this is education. And I'm not in love with this picture. I kind of like this one. Shkabam. Isn't that pretty? Woohoo. All right, so we got a bar chart for education. We got a bar... in fact, I like this one better myself. Oh, yeah. Gender. Here it is right there. So we got our bar graphs of gender and education. And one more for ethnicity. So let's do our ethnicity. There it is right there. So... I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing I was doing with the other ones. We're gonna sort it and expand the series. Yes, ma'am. And there we go. So again, how many we got? How many ones we got? How many is that? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ones, and ones are white people. And this time I'm just going to type it out. White. We got 6. And I'm going to do that real quick. Again, I'm going to pause this video. There we got. I hope I counted them right. So we highlight. Again, we highlight the data first. Go to insert. Go to recommended. We want the zip bar chart. Some people like the sideways. I prefer the vertical. Just easier for me. And again, this is ethnicity. And let's go with the pretty ones. Boom. All right, so far so good. Histogram time. We're going to make a histogram for annual income and a second one for anxiety. But annual income, here's annual income. What, you could highlight this. You could go to insert, recommended graphs. You'll notice it tries to put it in a bar graph. You go to all charts. You'll see down here there's a histogram. Click on it. But that's what you're going to get, and that is a crappy histogram. I want 5 or 6 different columns here. And as of right now, I don't know how to change this stuff. Let me see if I can here. Nah. All right, we have a different video. It shows you how to do it. It's much cleaner and much better. So I'm going to delete this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to a separate sheet so I can get some working room here. Copy. I'm going to just open up a blank one. We're going to put paste. Now we're going to make a histogram. So if you haven't watched a histogram video, watch it. And again, in SPSS, it takes about 1/10 of the time. But again, I feel remiss if I didn't show you how to do it in SPSS. So in SPSS, first thing you do is you write bins. And then frequencies. And the last one is, it's a good thing I watch my own videos. The last one is intervals. So remember, a histogram, the x-axis is in ranges, intervals. That's what we're going to select here. And again, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so it's a little bit easier to see. Center, center, bold, big, 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 and spread them out. Okay, here we go. So the bins is simply the last number of the interval. We have to decide what our intervals are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these bigger so everybody can see them, especially me. And then I'm going to put them in an order of some type to see the highest and the lowest. And then find out what the best divisor is between the data to get equal-sized intervals. All right, so we're going to do this. Smallest to largest. So our smallest is around 19,000. Our largest is around 170,000. So if we went by, what, 20,000s, that would give us, let's see, 20 times 5 is 100. We do 25,000s. That's probably better. Okay, so we're going to make our bin size, our interval size 25,000. So the first interval is going to be between 0 and 25,000. Good. All right, I'm going to put my things in here. I like my lines. So our second bin is going to be 25,1 through 50,000. And we'll make that bigger. And our next one is going to be 5,1 through 75,000. And this one's going to be 75 through 100,000. This one's going to be 101 through 125,000. This is going to be 125 through 150,000. And this is going to be 150 through 175,000. Is that the last one? Yeah, see, it does not go over 175,000. So that's good right there, right? All right, bins, again, is the last number of the interval. Now, watch this, see if I can do some magic here. See that? It knew what I was doing. I was adding 25,000 each one. So again, the bin is the last number of the frequency of the interval here. The frequency, this one is a little bit hard. So give me 1 second to watch that video again. All right, I watched my video. So what you do is you left click, hold it down, drag it down to one past the last one. You see that? Good. With this highlighted, you go back up to the function bar, you hit equals, and you start spelling the word frequency, F-R-E-Q, and it should show up if you spell it right. And there it is right there. So you double click. So it tells you what it wants next. You see that data array? That's what it wants next. So you hold your data. I'm sorry, you basically cut and paste your data in there, right? You copy your data. That's the data that we're going to make the histogram out of. And then put a comma in there. Very important. Don't forget the comma. The bins array is simply the bins. Close parentheses. Now this is where it gets weird. You got to pay attention here. You got to hit Control Shift Enter. Control Shift Enter. And it shows you how many are in each one. Isn't that amazing? All right, here comes the second part. We're going to add in the actual graph now. So what we're going to do is just highlight the numbers, not the zero. Don't try to delete that zero. You will be sorry. But highlight the frequency numbers. Go to Insert. We're going to put in a regular bar graph first. And again, this is a bar graph. This is not a histogram. You'll notice the x-axis, they're numbers. We want intervals. So you double click on that bad boy. Nope, get in there. You click on them until you get that little square. See that little square that goes over the x-axis? You're going to right click. You're going to select data. Where is my select data here? There's select data. So you get this guy, and it says this one on the left, this is your y-axis. This one is your x-axis. That's the one we want to edit. So when you click on it, it says, okay, where do you want me to get this data from? And you're going to say, I want this data right here. Bam. Click OK. And click OK again. And you look, it did it. Ta-da. It has the intervals that we want. But it's still these bars are not good enough. So what you got to do is you got to double click on them until you get this gray box popping up over here. Okay, you click on any of the towers, you go to gap width, and anything that's under 10% is fine with me because I like to see the individual things here. And this is our income. Anxiety histogram coming right up. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and Control A. I'm going to copy all the data in this sheet. I'm going to open up a new sheet somewhere. Come here, you. With the fresh sheet, I'm going to go ahead and paste it in. We live in a cut and paste world here. So now I'm simply going to replace the income data with the anxiety data. Let's see what happens. Right there's anxiety. There's my data. Copy. Back to sheet 3, and we'll just paste it in there. Good. Now we're going to fix all our data here. Let's fix our bins. So how many? What's our range here? Let's look at our range. All right, so it starts at 29 and it goes down to 67. So I'm thinking 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40, all the way up to 70. Okay, so our bins are going to be this. It's going to be, let's do Let's do 20 to 30. All right, 31 to 40. 41 to 50. 51 to 60. 61 to 70. I think that's all we need, right? We don't need these two. Get out of there, you. And we don't need these two. And our bins are, let's get rid of you. Get out of here, you. Okay, can't change part. We're going to leave it alone. So our bins, this is going to be 30. And that's going to be 40. And we're going to use the power of Excel. Boom. Done now. We're going to delete this one. There's our data. We're going to go to Insert, Graph. We will start with a regular one here. And this one is actually, what is this, anxiety? Anxiety. Which a lot of people suffer in a statistics class. Okay, so I'm going to change the x-axis. Hopefully get out of there, you. Come on, there we go. Change this, the x-axis, select the data, and I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to pick the intervals, please, thank you. Click OK. Click OK. Got my intervals down. Yeah. And again, I'm going to just click on one of these and change the gap width, which you can't see. Let me get that gap width over here. Gap width, I'm going to change it down to, yeah, I don't know, 8% or something. Right, that's at 0%. I can't tell, where one starts and one stops. So I always click it over just a little bit like that. And there's our anxiety. Yay, okay. Last one coming up here is a box plot. All right, last problem. We want a box plot of depression. So the old-fashioned way was to draw it by hand, but these days Excel will do it for you. So again, to put any chart in there, you highlight the data, you go to Insert, you go to Recommended Charts, and it doesn't show up right off the bat. You go to All Charts. Now, a box plot is also known as a whisker and a box and whisker. Okay, box and whisker. That is a box plot, believe it or not. And this is our depression. So I'm going to explain this to you a little bit here. And I'm going to see if I can't put the important stuff in on, okay, so let's click on that and see if we can't get the, right, we're going to apply the data labels. The problem is they're so freaking small you can't see them. So what I'm going to do is go back to Home and let's see, can I make these bigger? I think I can. Where is my... All right, trying that again. Please hold. Yeah, it's better. We're going to make these numbers bigger so we can read them. All right. So the number at the top, this horizontal line, 9, that means that's your maximum. This 2 is your minimum. Your 3, that is your first quartile. So in other words, 25%, a fourth of your data is between 2 and 3. The 7 up here is your third quartile. So what that means is 25% of your data is between 9 and 7. Now the box itself is between the third and the first quartile. That's half of your data. So in other words, half of your data is between 3 and 7. And I don't know what that number is right there, but the 6 is the median. That's the one piece of data that's in the middle. So more than likely, that's probably the mean, which we really don't care about. But that is a box plot, and I will take that. So coming next is I'm going to transfer this data to an SPSS file and repeat everything we did here, but it should take us less than 5 minutes. All right, that's it. MGZ out.